Next up is Noah Hearne from the Natural History Museum. Mining the Gaps, Geographical Biases and Colonial History of the Natural History Museum in London.
Hello, everybody. My name is Noah Hearne, and today I will be sharing with you some of my work from my master's on geographical biases in the mammal specimen data at the Natural History Museum, London. With the growing accessibility of our collections and digitized data through digitisation efforts and data portals, we need to think about the limitations of our natural history collections and their data. One limitation is geographical bias, which comes from non-random sampling through space. Spatial biases in biodiversity records have been found in multiple natural history museums and attributed to a suite of socioeconomic metrics such as GDP. However, very few studies have been used to look at the effects of colonialism on this variation in sampling effort within our collections. The Natural History Museum in London has a history of over 300 years and a very wide geographical spread from around the world. It also has deep connections to the colonial operations of the British Empire. The collection contains material, and it represents one of the largest and most comprehensive collections in the world. The size and strength of the NHM's collections was facilitated by the extent of the British Empire's colonial holdings, where widespread control of land and politics created a global network of extraction and trade that fueled the colonial machine and brought goods, wealth, and natural history specimens to London. Today, I will show you how I went about identifying spatial biases and their potential causes, and also visualized differential sampling across the globe. First, I downloaded all available mammal specimen data from the NHM available on GBIF, and I used the statistical software R to first tidy my data for analyses. I ran generalized linear models to identify spatial biases and its potential causes, and then also to draw maps of this data across the world. I then used these results and maps to explore the structure of my data and its biases. At the time of download in 2021, all of the specimen data for mammals with geographical details came from 226 countries, was mostly collected between 1850 and 1960. To measure sampling effort, I counted the number of specimens from each country for each year, and to account for species richness, I calculated a metric known as inventory completeness that looked at the number of species present in the NHM's collections over the number of specimens, the species expected to be found in each country. Additionally, I used data sets that encoded whether or not each country was previously a British colony, as well as 4 socioeconomic metrics that looked at development, peacefulness, airport density, and official languages. The results of my generalized linear model showed that there were spatial biases and that British colonial history did explain variation in sampling effort for inventory completeness. And in all of the analyses I ran, it showed that whether or not English was an official language explained variation for both specimen number and inventory completeness. To visualize the data, I plotted my metrics on world maps. And here you can see that countries that were previously British colonies, such as Australia, India, Nigeria, all have relatively high inventory completeness. Additionally, I plotted maps for each order of mammals to see how this variation in sampling effort differed across taxonomic rank. Beyond scientific research, I think that these analyses and maps can be used in a multitude of ways in various institutions. They could highlight and explain gaps in our digitized data to inform collecting, disposal, research, and digitization efforts. They could be used to inform research into the history of our collections, their founding, development, and displays. They could be used as an interactive tool on data portals to allow users to explore data geographically. And they could also be used in public engagement to complement discussions of the geographical breadth of collections and the histories that contributed to what they are today. All of the code I used and its figures and workflow are available on GitHub, and you can contact me on my email or my socials. Thank you.